If your dad likes to cook, and he's a man, all right, I'm pretty sure your dad's a man. If he likes to cook, I know he's got some gadgets. I mean, men cook differently than women. Men need kitchen gadgets. So we're gonna go through my home kitchen today, and I'll show you some of my favorite cooking tools, and maybe it'll give you some ideas for Father's Day. I'm Chef Todd Moore. My mission is empowering people to cook without recipes. They experience the freedom to cook what they want, how they want it, the confidence to take control and try new things, the health benefits of fresh, wholesome foods, and the family strengthening bonds of dinner time together, as well as the money they save by eating well. Live without rules, cook without recipes. It's a no-recipe lifestyle. A few things that I use in my kitchen that you might consider as a Father's Day gift. I don't sell any of these things. These are just things that I use that I don't think I could do without. At the simplest, easy, cheap Father's Day gift, a peeler, a vegetable peeler. Dad probably has a dull peeler that he's cutting himself on, and they sell these with cool handles now. You can get a nice peeler, just a few bucks. Also on the simple end, these scrapers, silicone or plastic scrapers, similar to your Teflon pan. If you're missing a chunk out of some of these, the chunk probably wound up in your food. So maybe a new set of scrapers is an inexpensive Father's Day gift for Dad who loves to cook. Or like a silicone pastry brush for sauces or butters or things like that. If we're cooking or baking or even want a nice plate presentation, portion scoops. All different sizes of portion scoops. Now this is not only good for baking cookies and things, but what if you had a nice rice plate up and you had a certain kind of rice, you could put a nice domed portion on your plate. Portion scoops might be a good idea for Dad. Also tongs. I can't do without tongs. I have tongs in my hands in the kitchen more than I don't have tongs. You take baking sheets out of the oven, you stir things, you pick up one piece of spaghetti, see if it's done. This is kind of a cheap pair. These are a little nicer with a cushioned handle and a little lock grip on them. Tongs, another very good idea. I like that sound. Sounds like a sword, but it's not a sword, it's a bench scraper. This is something I use all the time. Gets flour up off boards, it cuts doughs, it portions things. A nice stainless steel bench scraper, also an inexpensive, good idea for Dad. The number one item that I need in my kitchen all the time is a thermometer, a digital thermometer. And they come in different sizes, shapes. The other thing to look for is they have different high points. This one goes up to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. This one to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. This one also to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. The difference is the work that you're going to be doing. You're not going to cook a roast to 450 degrees, but if you're boiling sugar, a higher temperature thermometer is certainly important. Now my favorite tool in the kitchen is my digital wireless thermometer. This has a probe here that goes in the meat. The transmitter sends to the receiver the temperature, and when my meat is done, it's done. That's a great Father's Day gift. I couldn't do without that. Oh, speaking of peelers before, things really simple. This is a cool device that I use all the time. What do you think it is? Got a guess? It's a string bean Frencher. And I don't mean like with your tongue, Frencher. I mean, you pass the string bean through here and you see those blades, it slices it horizontally. You get this nice Frenched string bean peel. And this is just a few bucks, but it's a great device I use in my kitchen all the time. Knives, if you consider knives as a Father's Day gift for your dad, knives are kind of a personal issue, the weight, how they feel in your hand. But I will show you one cool knife that I have that someone gave me. This is a simple paring knife, but it's got this beak nose on it. Can you see the end of it? That's the beak nose. And this is only a few bucks, but I love it because it gets the cores out of tomatoes. I can set my thumb as a depth gauge and I can pull seeds out of squash and stuff. A beak nose paring knife is a cool item that you can give your dad as well. Two other things I love in my kitchen. First of all, my pepper grinder. Fresh black pepper ground on things. A nice pepper grinder is not cheap. This is probably $50 or so, but a great thing to have in the kitchen and a really nice display item, as I always just set it back there. If there's pepper, there's salt, and I love to use kosher salt, so I'm always pinching kosher salt, a nice little salt tray like that you find at your local restaurant supply or a mall convenience store. You'll probably pay a lot more there. Let's go to pots and pans and talk about some of the things that I love in my kitchen. First of all, you've seen this in my videos, my asparagus steamer. And And it's got a basket inside, not only for steaming asparagus, but for steaming everything. And this is a great procedure to cook vegetables because you par cook them. You steam them first, chill them, and then they can go ahead and be used in your stir fry or something. Also, a great gift idea for Dad, a cast iron pan. This is an heirloom item. This is something that I don't want to say will outlast Dad. That's not very nice. But people pass their cast iron pans down from generation to generation, and if it's cared for well, this is a great alternative to when it's raining outside and I can't barbecue. I get my cast iron pan sizzling hot, and I can get the same kind of char on it. I never wash my cast iron pan. It's always cleaned with oil and salt. Here's another commercial kitchen item. This is called chinois, and it is a very fine mesh, and I use this for pureeing fruits or sauces, making soups really, really smooth. This is a commercial kitchen item that somebody would not necessarily have in their home, but it's a strainer unlike any other. It's called chinois. And now, one thing that I do support, and they sponsor me on here on No Recipe Lifestyle, is man pans. Man pans are for mankind because they're eco-friendly. I love that handle, the Stay Cool handle, the see-through lids. This also has a steamer insert, so I use this one pan with broth underneath, steam my vegetables, take them out, dump the water, and then I can stir fry right in the same pan. Really light anodized material. Man Pan's a sponsor of No Recipe Lifestyle as well. So these are all ideas for Father's Day. If your dad is cooking in the kitchen, he loves gadgets. Trust me, he does, and they don't have to be expensive. Restaurant supply store is probably the best place to get it. Some of the big warehouse stores, your mall store might have kitschy stuff also, but they're Father's Day ideas for Dad that cooks in the kitchen and lives a no recipe lifestyle.